Hey guys, less is more back with another video, and today we're going to discuss a hand I played at 1KNL on Global Poker. And after I go through the hand history, we're going to jump into a Pio sim. So, let's see. Yeah, so I opened 2.2 bigs on the button. Flop 975 two-tone. It goes check check, turn 4 of the flush suit. He bets 2/3. I call. Then on the river, the 10 of clubs. He blocks, I think, about 1/3 of the pot. Any day now. Okay. He blocks 1/3. I raise. This is just under a pot size raise. So out of position could be, he could value bet like a 9, like a strong 9. He could put some 2 pairs and sets into this line as well. And then he could trap some flushes, mix some flushes into this line for sure. And then probably like most of the straights and flushes that unblock calls will mix into a bigger size, but the flushes should mostly be mixing. So then when I raise, I'm pretty much just repping a straight or better. Given the raise size, I could raise a set, for instance, for a smaller size. But this is quite a connected board. Plenty of straights and flushes available, so raising something like a set this big might be a bit thin. Although versus a block, it could probably be okay, but after he bets the turn, like if it went check check on the turn and then he blocked river, like you could get really thin with your value raises here. But after it goes bet call on the turn, you can't get so thin with your value raises in position here. And so then he jams all in. So yeah, this is an overbet jam. And then, so I call. So he had the king 7 of diamonds, and I did the king 9 for the flush. So we're going to take a look at this in Pio. So button versus big blind single raise pot. This is the imposition betting strategy on this board. It's going to be like a mid frequency for about half pot. On these middling connected boards, this is mostly what you're going to see. Unlike the higher connected boards, you'll see a good mix of like bigger sizes, like 3/4 and pot. But like on these middling boards, it's mostly going to be half pot or check around a mid frequency. On the lower connected boards, you're going to see the frequency go down even a bit more. And if out of position isn't donking on boards they should, then imposition is going to be checking back even more. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the range construction on the flop here. So if we take a look at the overall ranges, you can see both, like, neither player just has like a damning advantage on this board. It's like these connected boards are a bit equalizing, sort of like monotone boards. Like both players are going to have plenty of hands with equity. Like even if out of position has like a weak pair, a lot of their weak pairs will have like a gut shot to go along with it, or like a backdoor flush draw or something like that. And like on a monotone board, like tons of their offsuit combos, will have a flush draw like on a monotone board. So like similar idea, but basically like you're not going to be betting at a super high frequency on either of those boards. So let's see. So as far as we can take a look at the hand classes here. So straights in position about 1%. Yeah, so both players with about 1% straights. Pretty similar set and two pair combinations. In position is going to have slightly less two pair. So yeah. As far as the betting goes, so like these top pair with the flush draw are mostly going to be betting. The higher the kicker, I mean, with or without the flush draw, the higher the kicker, the more often you're going to be betting. And so, yeah, it might be tempting, like with a hand like King 9 of Hearts, just to like check this back quite often, just because you like block the calling range or part of the range that would raise. But really, I mean, you're gonna be wanting to play this like you know, like you have a 9, like you do, right? So with or without the flush draw, just the stronger your kicker, you can just bet more often. Yeah, and so of these overcard hands, you're going to lean more towards betting. Like with the king high, you're going to lean more towards betting with hands with a backdoor. Like king queen of clubs, king queen of hearts is going to bet more often than king queen without a backdoor flush draw. And then like the offsuit combos are going to bet more often with the backdoor flush draw. Yeah. And then once you get up to ace king, you'll see that like ace king is a hand with quite a bit of showdown value. Like ace king of diamonds is going to struggle to, like ace king of diamonds is often going to be the best hand, but it's going to struggle to get to showdown quite often. But if you bet ace king of diamonds, you can get called by worse quite often, like gut shots and things, and then you can like bluff catch rivers. Whereas like if you check back ace king of diamonds and you face a bet, like it's just not going to be fantastic because you're often going to you know, face 1 or 2 bets, and that's just not fantastic when you could just bet yourself, get called by worse, and then like check back rivers or whatever. Whereas like ace king of hearts and ace king of clubs, they're not really going to struggle in the same way. Like ace king of clubs can continue quite comfortably on all the club turns. So just the hand just plays better as a check back since that showdown value. Let's see. Then once you get down to like ace jack, and yeah, like ace jack, you're just betting the flush draw. Okay, and then ace 9 is mostly betting. You're gonna, so like these 8x and 6x are all gut shots, so you're gonna be betting them more often than the non-gut shot hands. Like queen 6 is betting more often than queen 4 overall. Yeah, the queen 4 no backdoor is just a pure check back. Okay, and then the sets are almost pure bets. Pocket nines you're going to check back a little bit, blocking the calling range so strongly. Let's see, what else? Yeah, 6-4. So it is an open ender, but the issue is if you hit an 8, you're not getting that much value. Like you can't stack a straight pretty much. Whereas like 10-8, you can stack worse straights. Like if you hit a 6, you know, you can stack any 8x pretty much. Let's see. And then these overpairs are going to be mixing, like on these connected boards, remember to mix your overpairs into the checkback line. In single raise pots, what you're going to see is like at the higher SPRs, when you have an overpair, you're going to see these hands mix more into bets with the flush draw suit, just because they have the added equity. Because there's going to be plenty of runouts where your hand is just shit, right? Like any 9, 8, 7, 6, or 5, and then all the hearts are not going to be great for your hand. So, like on those heart turns, you're just going to want to have hands that pick up extra equity after you get called. Okay. So offsuit 8x, or ace-x, I mean, is let's see, ace-7's mixing. Yeah, a lot of these ace-x are just mixing at a higher frequency with the gut shot. And then these pair plus straight draw hands like 7-6, 8-7, 9-8. Just betting more often with the backdoor flush draw or the flush draw. And then once you get down to like 6-5, you're really just playing it like you have a 6, and then like 6-5 of clubs with the backdoor flush draw, you can, you know, start to bet a little bit with the gut shot and the backdoor flush draw. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good overview. So after check on the flop, turn 4, we can look at several different turns here. So for out of position, you're going to see like on the 6 and the 8, you're going to see tons of blocking. Along with the, yeah, so the 6 and the 8 are going to be the main ones. Like on the 4-liner boards, you have to think about it like if you bet big, you're just losing expectation because you're only getting called by straights or sets, for instance. So like on the 6, you wouldn't be able to value bet a hand like 9-7 if all you did was like 3/4 or check, right? So it's just a way to extract a bit of extra value, and you know, you're gonna have quite a few strong hands on this turn. Imposition should have you know, some straights on this turn, but you know, Imposition is going to be betting a lot of gut shots. Really, the main thing is you want to make sure to do a lot of small betting on these 4-liner turns. Similar thing on like monotone boards on 4 flush turns. Similar thing is going to happen because you want to be able to value bet more than just like a strong flush or whatever. Yeah. So versus the block, you should be raising small. Yeah, so you can raise like some pair flush draw hands. It's like you can, I guess this is sort of an interesting raise, the ace-9 there. Anyhow, yeah, you'll be raising a bunch of your straights, especially with the flush draw. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. Gonna turn some of these queen high, king high, jack high, 10 high type hands into bluffs, just unblocking the folding range. So if you had a hand like king queen, wouldn't be as good of a raise, because if you raise and get called, like if you hit a king or a queen, like you're pretty much never good. Whereas like king four, we know we're never good with a pair, but at least we unblock this, like these king queen, king jack, queen jack folds better than a hand like king queen. And not to mention that the ace high folds. So okay. And it looks like there's a decent bit of half pot. I'd imagine that the size is somewhere around a third of the pot. Like if you gave it a third pot size, that might be the preferred size overall. Yeah, so half pot call. And then river is the 10 of clubs. Actually, let's go back to this. I chose the wrong turn to begin with. Let's see. Well, okay, maybe there's one more thing to be said. So, if you block, like these ace high hands are like right at indifference. So after it goes check check on the flop, like a set is still quite a strong hand. You might not be able to get money in, but like it's still quite strong. Like versus this block, even like plenty of one pair hands are calling. Like all of this 9x is calling. This isn't just like nuts or air, you know. Like you can see the out of position's betting like 70% on this turn. So just because like they block this 4-liner turn, don't just like get sweaty and just snap fold like all your overpairs or whatever. You can see even like jacks is like starting to raise for a bit of protection. Yeah, so just be wary of that. But the reason out of position is like betting so thin is because in position should be calling with worse a decent amount. Yeah, I mean if out of position bets a hand like ace 9, they're gonna get called by like all this 9x, all this 7x, pretty much any pair. And then even ace king high is like pretty close to indifference. So you have to play quite loose on these turns. So yeah, just be aware of that. If you suspect your pool is just like snap folding a bunch of one pair hands, this is quite a good spot to take some stabs. So on the 4 of hearts turn, it's a pretty wet turn. It's not quite a 4-liner, but it is a flush completing turn. Like on these flush completing turns, well, let's talk about connected boards in general. So like on connected boards, you're not going to be doing much overbetting at all, except with the exception of the ace, I guess. Just because the ace, like, it's a card that in position is going to smash. So like if out of position is betting, they're really only repping a range that can beat an ace. Like if in position has a pair of aces, they're repping a range that can beat that. So, but on connected boards, on most other turns, like there's not going to be much overbetting at all. Yeah, you can see like on the vast majority of turns, it's just like pot is pretty much the biggest size used. Like on this low deuce brick, there's a bit of an overbetting range, but yeah, just like if the card is connected at all with the board, there's just not going to be any overbetting really. Like on connected boards in general, basically you're going to be waiting to put in, you know, the really big bets and raises until the river. And with a lot of the value hands, you're just going to be waiting for a safe run out, more or less. Yeah, so like on this board, both players should have a decent number of nutted hands. So, you know, big raises aren't going to be as big bets, or raises aren't going to be as ideal. Okay. Let's see. So 4 goes, he goes 3/4, but just go half pot and a call. And then the river's the 10 of clubs. And then, yeah, so like even on a board this wet, you can still block top pair here. Like you shouldn't be doing much more than blocking. It's just going to be hard to get value otherwise. But yeah, I mean with 10-9 you can start to go into the big size, but really, like the single pair hands are just going to be blocking. So after it goes block, you know, obviously in position going to be raising all their flushes, and king 9. So here, let's see, like the king 9 and the king 10, the ace 10, like these lower flushes in this region are going to mostly be going into the small raise, or into the big raise size, I mean. So if you look at the like versus the small bet, if you look at the small raise as opposed to the big raise, like if you raise small, you're still getting jammed on by a bunch of worse flushes, like the queen high flushes. Let's see, the h6 of hearts. I mean, even h6 of like the straight with the non-flush is still raising for value. So like all these worse flushes are still clearly value raises. Like yeah, like 10-6 of hearts, 10-3 of hearts, that sort of thing. But if you have a hand like king 9, you'll see this, like this region right here is what's starting to fold out. But it's going to be pretty similar against the big raise size as well. So basically, if you have like a hand like king 10, king 9, queen 10, or queen 9, you unblock the flushes that would just raise for you, and you block like the like if we raised, you block like the 2 pair that would just call. The 9-7 and 9-5 and 10-9. Yeah, like all the offsuit 10-9. But you can still get jammed on by worse flushes. So it's going to make like raising big with these flush plus top pair type hands even better. Whereas like a hand like queen jack and like king queen, ace king of hearts, like you block a lot of the flushes you want to get raised by. So you just like want to raise smaller to get called by more single pair and 2 pair hands. Like you can see, like versus the small raise, all the 10x is calling. Yeah, that makes things a little easier to see. So if it goes block, raise small, and getting called by like jack 10, like all this 10x, these lower 2 pair, and the lower flushes will still jam on you for value. It's just there's not as many, like if you have a hand like ace king of hearts, you're just not getting jammed on as often by worse flushes. So you just like want to raise smaller to get called by non-flush hands. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to go through today. Thanks for watching.